All right. Hello and welcome to the Intellectual Idiots. We have a very special guest, Godchild.
Godchild. Woo!
Godchild.
What's packing, everybody, man? It's your boy Godchild, the first of his name, live from the nation's capital. I'm here with the Intellectual Idiots. Nice
sir.
to be on the show, man. Nice to be on the show, guys. Appreciate it.
First of all, we would like to give a
Having
shout
you
out to What's Packin. Make sure you tune in. He's with our Tom Burns, who was also on the podcast earlier. So shout out to Tom. I know you're probably, hopefully tuning in. But we got a lot to cover today. It was unbelievable first round of the wild card round of the playoffs.
So much shit.
We have a lot to cover. We're going to start off with doing our biggest surprises and biggest disappointments. We're all going to give a biggest surprise and biggest disappointment. And honestly, let's dive right into it. Tyler, you want to get us rolling?
Sure. Yeah, I can start us off. I think the most exciting thing, obviously, of the weekend, biggest surprise for me, the Jaguars coming back down 27-0.
Jag Nation.
One of the biggest playoff comebacks in NFL history. Trevor Lawrence having 4 interceptions in the first half, looking like they're absolutely dead. Coming back, throwing 4 touchdowns in the second half, taking the game. Doug Peterson showing he has the biggest gonads in the entire league. My God, I love the Jaguars. I hope they win the Super Bowl because our beloved Packers are out. But what are your guys' thoughts?
Hit us, Godchild.
Like, just reaction to what you said?
Yes, let's hear it.
Okay, yeah, man. So I actually had picked the Jags in that game. I've been kind of on the Jags a little bit since the season. Like, I've seen a couple of their games, and I was feeling the Jags going into this game, honestly. Like, I know they kind of hit a rough patch, but I like their offense, man. Like, I really like the collection of talent they have on offense. That defense is young and, like, ferocious, and they, like, fly around. They got a lot of draft picks, and I felt like everybody has been really, like, kind of all over this Herbert, Justin Herbert, like I know he's put up a bunch of yards and he's got the great hair and he's got the stature and he's got like everything you would want, but like I was like, pump your fucking brakes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I agree.
I'm a big playoff guy. I'm a big, like, you haven't made it to the playoffs. Y'all haven't even had a fucking winning season. Like, why I didn't get why everybody was like kind of all like slobbing his knob, like, but like I felt like the Jags were gonna come in here and like get like prove like like that they're like kind of ready to get back to
ready to ascend,
and it was kind of, it was kind of even. I know, right? A la the Blake Bortles circa when they almost went to the Super Bowl. They almost went to the Super Bowl that year. And it was just like, the Colts, the Chargers. I mean, they have a good team. You know what I'm saying? I had Austin Eckler in fantasy. Is like, I mean, that dude is an absolute one-man wrecking crew. So I mean, I feel like they had a chance. I didn't think it was gonna be that crazy of a game. You know what I'm saying? But I felt like it would be kind of close. It'd be competitive. But I thought the Jags would win, and it really kind of comes down to the coaching. I mean, they have a Super Bowl winning coach. So I feel like, and their coach, and the Chargers coach is now fired. So,
I would say like a bad football, like a terrible football fan. I turned the game. I like turned it off when I saw like after Trevor Lawrence threw his 4th pick. I was like, okay, I gotta do something else here. Like it was starting to get really bad. And all of a sudden I look at the score and I'm like, whoa, it's 30-20. Let's flip this sucker back on. We got ourselves a winner.
And I was watching that game, and like I was kind of watching it, like streaming it, and then like my buddy called me, and I kind of like because it was like 20-0 or whatever, and I was like, man, but then I was like, you know what though, like kind of sort of like even when it was 27-7 and they were down by 20, I was like 20 points isn't really that big, I was like, it was like forget like 13 minutes I remember like looking up like 13 minutes or 12 minutes in the third quarter. I was like, that's not really that much. If he just stops throwing a bunch of interceptions, they can maybe come back. And then like every 2 minutes, I started doing something else on my stream. I looked up and I was like, oh, okay. And then I looked and was like, oh, okay. That looks oh shit. Okay. I was like, I like that. I like that, man.
I love
That's what I'm talking about, man. And people always say, okay, real quick, let's interject some Packers into this, right? People will say like, Aaron Jones fumbled. This player dropped the ball. Or let's go back to even 2 years ago against Tampa Bay. Kevin King gave up a touchdown before the half. Like all these little different things that, yes, they have an impact on the game. But that's why I always say, I don't care what the fuck happens between quarters 1, 2, and 3. If you have the ball in your hand and you're down by a score or less in the fourth quarter, that's all that matters. And Trevor Lawrence, he threw 4 picks in the first half. They look like
record.
They look like Jaguar shit. Okay, they look like the bottom of a zoo, petting zoo. Like it was just all over the place. It was all over the walls, all everywhere. And then, so slowly but surely, he just put it out of his mind. I mean, he's used to the big games, right? Come on, this dude lost 2 games his whole career.
Since his entire high school career. I mean, he's been winning.
And it's like
national championships.
He came back, and that's what matters, man. Like all that other stuff, you don't like it, and you got to clean it up, and you don't want to do that every week, but that other stuff doesn't matter. And when you got a gamer at quarterback, you got somebody that's clutch, and somebody who can play big, they'll win you that game. I mean, so
I think Trevor Lawrence will be an MVP quarterback in this league someday.
He 100% will be. He will win a Super Bowl before his time is over, and I think he will be a Hall of Famer. But to sum it up, coaching, it comes down to coaching, comes down to, honestly, to your quarterback. Players have said and come out in interviews saying that they would die for Doug Peterson. So that shows how much of a command he has of that locker room. So super exciting. Hopefully the Jaguars make it through. Max, do you want to go next? Biggest surprise?
Oh, yeah. So my biggest surprise, with a little bit of a negative connotation, the Cowboys kicker. He just missed 5 straight extra points. Four. But he missed the last extra point of the last game, too.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Okay, look at that.
So they just missed 5
stats and information, guy.
Straight extra points. Okay. I didn't put that as my biggest disappointment because that's just a jaw to the floor type of stat. How are you an NFL kicker and have missed 5 straight extra points? That is, you should be immediately taken away from the organization. That is horrible. I cannot believe it. And I mean, you feel bad for the guy because he's clearly like completely lost upstairs. He's got no confidence. He's gone. He's done. The Cowboys, this is going to really, really, really hurt them. Like they literally don't have a kicker right now. They don't have a kicker.
I mean, but he might be able to turn it around. You know, he might be able to. I mean, he might be able to turn it around. I mean, look, shit happens, man. Even Justin Tucker missed like 4 kicks this year. Now, granted, they were like in the snow and like all over 50 yards, but you know,
they're not extra points. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that's why they were field goals. That's true. They were field goals. That is a big difference. Yeah.
Surprisingly, the Cowboys did say that they still have faith in Brett Maher and that they're going to try to work with him. So maybe
what else going to say?
Yeah, right. It's not what the reaction. It's not like the reaction showed on the sideline.
Whenever people like make those kind of comments, I'm like, I'd rather you just not because what else are you going to say? You know, you get up there and you be like, no, like from here on out we're going for 2. Like that's what honestly, if he would have said that, I would respect the hell out of him. I'd be like, you know what? From here on out, we're going for 2 points.
They showed that on the sideline. Dak Prescott, when he slammed his helmet, you could see in his lip, fucking go for 2. Like he did not want to trust Brett Maher anymore.
At this point, if your quarterback is like that kind of gung ho about it, and like your kicker is clearly like choking, like man, they shouldn't go for 2 because I mean,
send it.
Honestly, like maybe that could be kind of like I don't want to cut you off for your big surprise, but I was going to kind of segue into my big surprise.
Yeah, no, I'm done. All you.
So I kind of
hit it, Godchild.
So I would say like that I got like I guess I'm kind of torn because that was kind of a big surprise to me, like that he keeps missing all these kicks, and Tom Brady he like couldn't. I kind of felt like it was like, it was kind of like scripting its way into like a Tom Brady. I can't believe he came back and won, like crushing the America's team and
Skip Bayless would have, or what's his name? Stephen A. Smith would have loved that.
Yeah, he would have loved that, and Skip Bayless would have loved that too because Tom is his guy. So that was kind of a surprise that like Tom just kind of went out like a little bitch.
He did, man. That was bad.
He looked like he wanted to be there,
and he probably didn't. Honestly, he's ready to go team up with McDaniels in Vegas. But I would probably say my biggest surprise would have to be the New York Giants.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's
because
they are phenomenal, playing well.
Honestly, like I don't even like. I'm still not sure if they are phenomenal.
Same.
Like I watched a couple of their games. You know, like I'm in the DC market, so I saw a couple of the games against the Commanders. Of course, I saw them against the Packers. Saw some other games, and I'm just like, I don't really know how the fuck they got here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know Saquon had a pretty good year. Like Daniel Jones, at the end of the year, he started coming on because I actually picked him up. Do you guys do fantasy football?
Oh, we do. Lots of. I do fantasy football, and I'm in 3 dynasty fantasy football leagues.
Man,
so
I mean, you got any room for one more?
Yeah, absolutely.
I need a league, or I'm trying to make a league. I'm either want to join a league. I kind of want to join a league that's kind of like maybe got an empty spot, but I also want to make my own league. Like I did it a couple years ago, but I couldn't get all the money, and so the people like kind of just when people don't put any money up on it, they just kind of
fade off.
I actually won my fantasy football league this year, and I had a 9-5 record, and I actually made some bad decisions kind of early on that could have cost me, but the 3 things I did late that helped me out was Daniel Jones mid-season, Christian Watson, like the game after his first big game, I picked him up immediately. He had like 3 other big games after that, so he won me a lot. And I picked up a running back, like the Commanders running back, who kind of had like a couple of good games. But the Giants, man, they're a big surprise because I was the guy all year. I know I'm a Packers fan, but I think it's because I'm born and raised on the East Coast. I'm not from Wisconsin. I'm not from the Midwest like Detroit or Michigan or, what I'm saying, like Minneapolis. Like I don't have the same sort of inbred, like innate hatred for Minnesota. Like I feel like a lot of Midwesterners have. Like I feel like it's in your blood to like really hate Minnesota the most. And I don't have that. I'm more like unbiased and a little more like objective. So all year long, I've been like comparing that Minnesota team to the 2019 team. You know what I'm saying? That everyone said like the worst 13-3 team in the history of NFL. And, they were so overrated and yada, yada, yada. But I was like, look, man, when we were winning the same way that the Vikings were winning, we would have been, as Packers fans, right? We were like bitching and moaning, this Vikings, they're just so salty. They're so bitter. We won. Like everything that Packers fans did this year to the Vikings and everyone else said about us all year. So it was kind of like, I feel like Packers fans are kind of like hypocrites in a sense. You know what I'm saying? It's like they can dish it, but they can't take it. And so I was like putting respect on the Vikings name all year long. I didn't care about all the little point differentials and shit. I mean, you come back from 33 points. I don't care if you do it against a goddamn anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like that's impressive. Even though it's the Houston Texans. So, when the Giants kind of went into Minnesota and just kind of like put their foot down on them, I was like, okay, like, all right, Giants, like maybe y'all might be able to make a run here. Maybe the Giants might be the biggest surprise this week because the way they played and that defense, I mean, that front seven is kind of nice, and they just kind of have it's almost like it's almost like they got the Eli Manning team all over again. I mean, that was the thing, right, with Daniel Jones. Yeah. Like he was like the Manning disciple. He's kind of got the dumb look of Eli, but he's got like the talent of Peyton, but Eli's dumb look and kind of dumb luck almost. The man, and he's runner. He's the runner. I'll tell you right now, this might be controversial. I'm not trying to like get you guys in trouble or anything like that, but I guarantee you, if Daniel Jones was black, people would give him a lot more respect for his running abilities because that motherfucker can move. I feel like he kind of gets discredited a little bit because he's white. It's like you kind of don't expect it, but that motherfucker can move, man.
Dude, he can
move, like really.
First QB in NFL history in the playoffs with 300 plus passing yards and 75 plus rushing yards.
Dude, I mean, that's the X factor. His running ability just kind of catches you out of nowhere, and then like,
and to mix that with Saquon, is dangerous.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like they got some talent on there, and they got a pretty decent offensive line.
Brian Daboll
is stout. Brian Daboll's probably going to win Coach of the Year.
He should win Coach of the Year. He should win Coach of the Year. And it's like I wouldn't put like Daniel Jones I'd probably put him like fifth, on the like running kind of quarterback list. But it's still like. I don't think many people think about that, like when they think about him, but you really should, because
people just think average quarterback. Like that's
but no, he's talented as hell, and he's got the quarterback, transfigurer. He turned Josh Allen into an MVP caliber guy, completing 50% of his passes his first year, and now he's like, kind of like the man a little bit, and look, he's doing the same thing. Daniel, I mean, they didn't even sign him to his 5th-year option, but now they're about to have to give him that bag a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
So, all right. So now we got to do what biggest
disappointment.
Godchild, you start us off right away. We'll snake it back. Biggest disappointment.
Snake it back. Okay, my biggest disappointment. I would probably say the biggest disappointment was. Biggest disappointment. I don't really. I guess. I mean, I guess it would. I kind of started out with this one, so maybe I'll end it with this. But I wasn't disappointed necessarily in Tom Brady not making it, but it was sort of like I didn't think the NFL was going to let him go out like that. I'm kind of one of those like NFL's like I think there is some sort of.
I agree. The refs really want some certain teams to win, so like I didn't think they would let Brady go out like that either.
I wouldn't go as far to say like it's like absolutely scripted, but I remember like I kind of got down this rabbit hole a little bit like last year, and basically the NFL is registered as an entertainment company, so it like as far as like legality goes, and like the referees, they are the employees of the NFL. So whatever the NFL tells them to do is like what they're due. So it's like it's not like they're cheating. You know what I'm saying? They're just if the NFL says, look, this week we want y'all to go a little heavy on pass interference and for this team, and we want you to kind of swallow those whistles unless it's egregious for the other team. Like they can do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not really illegal because it's no different from the WWE. Like it really is in the eyes of the law and legality and like whatever you want to like, FCC or whatever the fuck it is, like they are an entertainment company, so they can kind of do whatever they want. You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you
They're
what,
not protected.
Tough to help out that Buccaneers team though, man. They're fucking bad.
That's what I'm saying. They tried.
Shit. They are fucking bad.
I think they tried. I don't know what the heck they're going on that kicker, but I mean, I couldn't believe that. That's what I'm saying. It was a disappointment because like I really couldn't believe that the Tom Brady and this team like they fell off so hard from last year, even 2 years ago.
And they have like the same team. They brought like
same team.
They just don't look like they have the same fire and passion for the game. When they lost Bruce Arians, that's when the team obviously when it started to go downhill. Todd Bowles to me, he's a coordinator. He's not a head coach. He doesn't have the right passion.
Like Nathaniel Hackett.
He sits there on the sideline like this. Me and Max always joke that the man has never smiled in his entire life. Like Todd Bowles. This is the Todd Bowles.
No, yeah. He does kind of have a
99
yard touchdown. Like what's that dude like Snoopy? Not even is it Snoopy? Like just kind of like no expression, kind of sort of.
Eeyore.
Yeah, I mean like Eeyore. That's what I'm thinking. Eeyore. It's like yeah, man. I mean, and honestly, like I kind of like I'm a big Tom Brady, like is the GOAT and all that kind of shit guy. Like,
he is,
but I think like this year kind of showed me that even he isn't immune to the ego and even though like I feel like we're seeing it a lot more with Rodgers, how he's like sabotaging the offense and how he's like jeopardizing the Packers' future and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And so focused on like individual accomplishments and not focused on the game, and he wants to like host Jeopardy and shit, like all this ego-driven stuff. Like, I mean, I think Tom was like, as far as like the wins and losses was concerned in New England was a bigger factor maybe than Belichick, even though Belichick was coaching and doing the general manager thing. So that's like very hard to do. But, you see how far they fell off after Tom left. You know what I'm saying? But I think that Belichick, what he really needs to get credit for is like managing Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? Like as Tom continued to have more and more success, it was like he was able to like keep him like, no, Patriot way. You know what I'm saying? Look at those fucking rings on your finger. We got those rings because we're doing it my fucking way. And if you want to keep winning these rings, you have to do it my way. And when Tom finally was like, he couldn't take it anymore, and he bucked the system, and he left, he won that ring 1 year with Tampa. But it was like really, Bruce Arians was kind of like hands off kind of a coach. He was pretty much like letting Tom do whatever he wanted, run offense his way. And they kind of caught lightning in a bottle. But now it's like you see like when Tom, if you just leave these quarterbacks to their own devices, they need someone to keep them in check. Tom, he's just supposed to throw the ball all the time. He wants to run no huddle. It's like, that's not going to fucking work, man.
To keep him in check.
And it's not going to work. No one on that team is going to keep him in check. That's the problem. Bruce Arians was the only one who kind of had like any kind of like he had rings, he had cachet, he had a long record tenure. You know what I'm saying? He had a lot of respect. So I don't think Tom, unless he goes back to Las Vegas. If he comes back, I don't think he's going to.
No, Rodgers is going to Las Vegas.
Would you rather have Rodgers or Tom Brady in Las Vegas, though? Let's be real. If you're McDaniels, would you rather have the guy you won 5 rings with?
Dude, Tom I think I'm looking really old.
I mean, I'd still rather have Rodgers if I were McDaniels.
I'd probably rather have Rodgers, too.
Pair him up with Devontae again.
If it was me,
has it more.
No, but Rodgers is a fucking choker. That's that's what I'm saying. Like, you saw what he did with Adams for the last 4 years. He didn't do nothing. He got in every year. They only got worse and worse and worse. NFC Championship game, divisional round, and then he left, and they couldn't even make the playoffs. Like,
it's true. But Tampa Bay's got way more offensive weapons than the Raiders do.
Yeah,
they got Godwin, Evans. They got guys. And Tom Brady.
No, but I mean, I mean, as much as I like Evans, I wouldn't put him on Devontae's level at this point in his career.
Nowhere near.
First of all, they have Josh Jacobs, who's like, I mean, really like this. I mean, he's like right after Henry. You know, I wouldn't put anyone above Henry because when it just comes to purely running the ball, he's a Hall of Famer. So, but he's done it before with Daniels. Like, that's his boy. Like Tom Brady doesn't have to learn anything. He just shows up day one. Is like, I know what we're doing. I got Adams again. It's like having Randy Moss. I got this beast at the running back. Got a pretty decent offensive line. And you know, we got a decent defense. I mean, if it were me, if I was Josh McDaniels, I would want my old thing back. I want my old flame back. I take Brady over Rodgers because I know Brady's going to show up for training camp. I know Brady's not doing a bunch of other shit. He's not drinking. He's not smoking. He's not tripping ayahuasca. He's not fucking traveling all over the world. You know what Brady's doing? He's eating.
He's going right back to game.
Come on, man. He's leaving his wife and kids for this. Are you kidding me?
He's a psycho, but
he's a psycho.
Fair points. Right. Max, let's hear yours next.
All right, my biggest disappointment, and I mean, we could talk about the Vikings being absolute choke artists, as I predicted that they would be. We could talk about, again, like, I agree with you, Godchild, like, the Buccaneers. What you said about the Buccaneers was so spot on. Like, I would have never guessed that they would have went out so bad like that. My biggest disappointment actually might be a shock. It's the Bills. Like, the Buffalo Bills showed.
That's a good one, man.
They won the game. They won the game, but they played fucking terrible. The Bills were bad. They showed a lot of flaws in their game. They almost lost to the Miami Dolphins, who played Skylar Thompson, who was at one point third, who at one point was 11 for 35 for 100 yards and 2 picks. That is, if you would have looked at the box score of this game, you would have thought the Bills won this game by 35 points. And the fact that they won by, 3? Josh Allen didn't look great, and the running game disappeared, and it was just like Josh Allen just heaving it down the field every play. He threw a couple really bad interceptions, and I'm telling you what, the Bills play the Bengals like this next week, the Bengals are going to win that game by 14, 20, 2 or 3 touchdowns. Like, it was a very bad performance by Buffalo. I just was very disappointed in what they did, and I thought they showed a lot of signs of a lot of flaws.
They didn't look great, and I thought they were for sure Super Bowl favorites going into this game, but I'm not seeing them even get out of the AFC. Like I just don't feel that anymore.
Gave up 31 points to a third-string quarterback.
But I mean, you do have to sort of. I always throw in that caveat of the 3 times in 1 year division opponents. I always kind of give a little bit of leeway for that. You playing your guy, you playing the same team 3 times in 1 year. Yeah, I mean, there's the backup, the third string, but I mean, here's my thing though, and I feel like you kind of seeing this with Brock Purdy. You see this with Geno Smith a little bit. I mean, you kind of can see this in some of these teams around them. I mean, you see Taylor Heineke. I mean, hell, even I even feel like Joshua Dobbs looked pretty good with the Tennessee Titans in a couple of those games. So, I really just think as the quarterback position is I think it's a little overinflated in its value in today's NFL. Whereas it's people just think oh my God, if you don't have now, I mean, yeah, we've seen some bad quarterback play, but over the years, a lot of the time, those bad quarterbacks are usually on bad teams. You know what I'm saying? But if you have a competent quarterback that isn't great, they don't even have to be good. They can be okay on a good ass fucking team. You can make some noise in the let's be real, the Dolphins are a good ass team. I mean, they've got 2,000-yard receivers. They've got that Shanahan offensive system that's pretty much paint by numbers. You know what I'm saying? You can plug almost anybody into that.
They were healthy. They looked like a Super Bowl team.
Hell yeah, with Tua fucking completing 75% of his passes. I mean, working the underneath stuff. I think they probably may have beat the Bills if they had Tua. Mm. But I mean, to me, it just goes to speak to the conference games are always tough. You know what I'm saying? 3 times in 1 year is always tough. That's kind of the same point. Then I think Mike Daniels is a damn good coach. He's running the Shanahan system, which is the same fucking system the Packers run, but for some reason, because Rodgers, right, he wants to add all these West Coast elements in it. We can't have the same success that all the other teams have that run the system, and they have a pretty good defense. So you don't need a megastar franchise Hall of Fame, future Hall of Fame MVP quarterback in that system. I mean, let's not forget, this is the same system that made Robert Griffin III look like, he was completing 70% of his passes. They had the number 1 offense, and they almost beat. If Robert Griffin wasn't hurt, I believe they would have beaten the Seattle Seahawks. And that's the same Seattle Seahawks team that went on to win the Super Bowl. So I think they could have beaten them that year because this is a very quarterback-friendly, don't overthink it, paint by numbers, hit the open man, run it, play action. It's a very brilliant offense. And so, I'm not surprised. I mean, I'm a little surprised that it was that close, but I'm not surprised that they didn't just get blown out. Like a lot of people thought they were going to just get blown out. I'm not that surprised, but I guess I was more surprised. The Bills,
they just looked sloppy.
They looked sloppy, and I thought really the whole DeMar Hamlin thing. I thought it would give him a big we got to do it for him, and they might. Yeah, I thought they could boat race him, but as the game wore on, I was like, hey man, this is what happens in the playoffs, man. Especially when you play divisional opponents.
Think about it too. If Skylar Thompson didn't make a couple of those horrible interceptions, the Bills might have lost that game. They might have lost. I mean, they got the ball in inside of their 50 a couple times. Given the ball in the inside of their 50.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's crazy. And what you said too, by the way, on a side note, I'm not going to go on about this, but this is a topic for another day. But what you said about Rodgers, I've talked about that before. This offense would look a lot different if he wasn't at quarterback, and I think it would be for the better because we'd be able to run our offense. I mean, LaFleur is a smart coach, and he's getting dragged through the mud because he's got to bend over backwards for everything that this guy wants. Unfortunately, it's a really tough situation that LaFleur is in, that our front office is in. I wish Goody had the balls to just let him walk, but he didn't. So here we are.
Exactly, man. And honestly, and people, and it's I've been saying that, I wasn't gonna say okay, Jordan Love, his rookie year, obviously no COVID year, but honestly, I said it after the Tampa Bay game. After that Tampa Bay game and the NFC Championship game, I was live on stream and I said it boldly. I said, Aaron Rodgers will never, ever win another anything. He will never win another significant game in his fucking career. And on top of that, he is sabotaging this offense. And every time I say that, people say, how can you sabotage? He's sabotaging this offense because it's so easy. And a genius like him, with the accuracy that he could have, it would be so easy. It would be so easy for him to just complete like 70 plus every fucking week and hit some long bombs. And Aaron Jones could be one of these running backs that people are talking about as one of the best in the league, because I've also said I feel like Aaron Jones is every bit as good as, if not better than, Christian McCaffrey. That's one of my hot
they don't
topics.
give him the ball enough, clearly. But
yeah.
I think we gotta wrap it up here. I got one last one.
All right.
But yeah, I feel like this has to be mentioned. I know we briefly touched on it before, but mainly I want to talk about Brandon Staley and the Chargers. Brandon Staley is the number one choke artist in this league. The way he handles
Staley, the Chargers have been a disaster for years. Sorry, go finish. Sorry.
Yeah, what I was gonna say was week 18. He played his starters, which when he did not need to, they cemented their playoff spot, and they lost Mike Williams, their beastly receiver, which obviously stunted their offense in a way going into the playoffs. Obviously demoralizing for your team to lose your arguably one of your best players. Who knows? I mean, back injury, pretty serious. And then obviously blowing a 27-0 lead when you're not running the ball in the second half. They only ran the ball 7 times. They didn't bleed the clock at all. They kept trying to throw it with Herbert. It wasn't working. They kept going 3 and out, giving plenty of time to the Jaguars. It's just a total waste of Justin Herbert's genius play. One of the biggest chokes, I mean, obviously in NFL history.
Man,
I don't know how the Chargers haven't moved on.
I don't know how they ran the ball 7 times, dude.
At this point, they actually, I know, Godchild, you had mentioned they fired someone. They actually fired their offensive coordinator.
The OC.
Staley. Yeah, so
he needs to be next.
Staley. They want to move on with the Staley era, and they got rid of their offensive coordinator. They believe in Staley, which I don't get at all. I think it's really stupid. But Chargers.
What does he call the plays? Is he the offensive guy or the defensive guy?
I'm not sure, but they kept Staley, which is stupid in my opinion.
Staley's the offensive guy. He calls the plays.
Really?
That's not rid of Lombardi. They got rid of Joe Lombardi. He's gone. They're keeping Staley.
Bring him to Lambeau. Shit, bring his ass home, man. That's where he belongs. He belongs in Green Bay.
So, overall, though, I think he is a huge loser, huge disappointment. Chargers, they're out.
If I could say one thing really quick, Tyler, like, I know you threw Brandon Staley under the bus, and here's the deal. Brandon Staley, I don't know, right? I mean, who knows? Brandon Staley, I don't think he's the best coach in the world. I don't know if he's the worst, whatever. I don't really fault him for playing his starters in Week 18. Some coaches like to do that. Some coaches don't. I think that's kind of a conversation that'll always go on in the NFL. Should we play our starters? Should we rest them? We don't want them to get rusty. We don't want them to get hurt. Whatever, right? Them losing Mike Williams wasn't the reason why they lost that game.
Yeah,
they were up 27-0.
He's still
27-0.
Major part of your offense, and he didn't need to play the starters. And that, I just think that's stupid as hell.
I'm kind of with you, Max. Like, I'm kind of with you. Like, I've always been like I don't like to let guys get rusty and shit like that. So, but like with a guy like Mike Williams, who has an extensive injury history, I probably would have maybe given him a couple of plays just to open up the hamstrings or whatever, and then just like sit him down, and then just like it's like I would have treated it like a preseason game. Just so my guys can so they can go through the motion, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, go through the motions, practice like they were going to play, go out, do a couple of series, maybe, hopefully, like they obviously got down the field, got a couple of scores. And then you put the backups in. Get the backups in there and let those guys rest, man, because it's a long season. I'm sure guys, nobody wants to say, oh yeah, coach, let me sit, because then you look like a bitch, you know what I'm saying? Or you look lazy.
Right.
But it's like, I'm sure they would all enjoy a little bit of rest, you know what I'm saying?
This game should be a surprise to no one, though.
Do you want to do some predictions for the next season? I mean, for the next round, you want to do round predictions, or do you have? I don't know how much time you guys have.
We got about 5 minutes, so let's do rapid fire predictions.
Yeah, we gotta be quick. We like to keep them under 30 minutes normally, but we can do quick predictions.
Okay.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Godchild, give us your NFC and AFC predictions for each game.
Okay, man. So we got Giants versus Philly, and honestly, I'm kind of thinking maybe the Giants can pull off the upset. I'm kind of like
that's
I don't know. It's too cute. Too cute, man.
Eagles are dominating.
We're gonna find out, man. You got another divisional game for me. Like I said, 3 times in 1 year is always interesting, and I actually kind of like that. Yeah, maybe I'm getting really too cute because I think I like Dallas too, man. I think Dallas has a real good shot
Dallas
at beating San Fran. I like the Jags. I don't even know who the Jags play, but I'm picking
Jags Chiefs.
Jags Chiefs, man. You know what? Mahomes is due for a fucking meltdown. He's been teetering that line for the last 3 years, getting down, having to make comebacks, all the Mahomes, the no-look passes, the underhand shit. He's I think since he's been in the league, he has the most dropped interceptions of any quarterback in the NFL. So I think Mahomes, well, I don't think he'll be as bad as Rodgers is in the end of his career, kind of falling off the cliff or not choking it away. But I think that stuff kind of catches up to you. All the bad mechanics, it kind of catches up to you. So maybe this will be the year it catches up to him. And then what's the last game? Bills, right?
Bengals.
I kind of want to take the Bengals. I kind of want to take the Bengals too because you know what? Even I don't know.
Underdog central for Godchild.
Probably be the favorite.
Yeah, wow.
No, man, and I don't usually like to take so many underdogs. And there's going to be one. There will always be one underdog every. Ooh, as they say on the NFL Network. Yeah, man. But I just feel like Joe Burrow is psycho. You know what I'm saying? I think he's psycho Joe.
He really so incredibly good.
He wants to be the best. He wants to be better than Brady. He wants to be the guy swinging every just big dick energy. I'm the best. What do he say? The window's as long as I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Smoking. He's just so cool. I just love his. I love his bravado, man.
I'm a major Steelers fan, and I hate to say it, but I like the Bengals now. I used to hate the Bengals.
Love that guy's bravado.
Packin, Jones, but now they're so lovable. It sucks to say.
Yeah. What about you guys? Who are your picks?
Max, you go next.
Okay, I'll go next. All right, so let's start same way you started. Eagles, Giants. I like the Eagles by a lot. I like what you said about 3 times in a year in divisional opponents. I think you make great points, but I'll tell you what, the Eagles just fucking killed the Giants every time they played them this year. I just think that they're overpowered. They overpower them. They're sometimes talent just prevails, and I think that the Eagles are just way too talented for the Giants to be able to keep up. I like the Eagles in that game, but would be a fun upset. I will say that. Next, we got the Cowboys-Niners. I like the Niners in that game. Again, I think the Niners are too powerful. They are rolling. The Cowboys have been very inconsistent this year. They've had some great moments, but ultimately they do have Mike McCarthy as their head coach. And, he has a track record. So I definitely like the 49ers, and the Cowboys are notorious joke artists. We're moving on to the Jaguars-Chiefs. I like the Chiefs in that game. Jaguars are fun. I think that they have a lot of talent, and I think it is going to be a much better game than what people think. But I do like the Chiefs at the end of that game. Again, talent. And my last game, I like the Bengals. I really do. The Bills showed me that the Bills showed me that they just have a lot of flaws. The Bengals don't have any flaws. They got a good defense. Yeah. They got a great running back. They got good receivers. They got a phenomenal quarterback. They got a decent offensive line that's much improved. The Bengals are a more complete team than the Bills are. The Bills get too reliant on Josh Allen, and it's going to come back to hurt them. I like the Bengals in that game.
All right.
That's an upset, though, right?
It's an upset.
That's an upset, it is. Right? Yep. Okay, because in the other ones you picked were favorites, but that's an upset. So I think I picked all the teams I wanted to win, but it wasn't very logical.
I like it. Roll with it. We'll go back to this. Honestly, all right, we'll go back to this.
But if I were gonna put money on it or something, or really trying to figure out who would win, I'd probably do mirror what you just did. Honestly, there's got to be one upset, and I think that's probably the most likely one.
Yeah. Ty?
All right. We'll start off Giants, Eagles. I know Godchild Giants, you're liking them a lot lately. You're loving Danny Dimes and his running ability and all that.
Danny Dimes.
I'm going Eagles. Jalen Hurts is a special player. Fly, Eagles, fly. That is correct. They will be flying to the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts. You
taking them all to the Super Bowl?
Yep.
That's a bad pick.
AJ Brown.
That's bad.
The Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. Next up,
Cowboys-Niners. Stomped by the Niners.
Cowboys-Niners. I think this is where the Cowboys' run ends. The 49ers are an unstoppable force right now. Brock Purdy.
I don't know, man. Geno Smith looked pretty good until that fumble, man. If they didn't fumble that.
Will rise and win this game. They will plow the Cowboys, but I think they will have a hurdle against the Eagles. 49ers over the Cowboys this weekend. Okay. Jaguars, Chiefs. I've been saying it. I'm going to stick with it. I've been saying it for a few weeks. The Jaguars are making it to the AFC Championship.
Let's go, man.
Ridiculous.
Let's go.
I've been saying it. I'm making the call.
Let's go.
The bold call. Jaguars over the Chiefs. Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, Evan Ingram's going to have over 100 yards.
Zay Jones.
Looks good.
I'll root for him.
And then
Christian Kirk.
Lastly, I still think obviously the Bills showed some weakness. I think the Bills will prevail. They have I love the coach for the Bills. Why am I blanking on his name?
It's Doug McDermott.
McDermott.
I love McDermott.
He's a great guy. He's a great
They will prevail. Josh Allen is a top 3 player in the league. I think the Bills will win that game.
I think Joe Burrow is better than Josh Allen. We'll see.
But
anyway, Godchild. Godchild.
Yes, guys.
It was awesome having you on.
Awesome.
You were phenomenal.
Yeah, man. Anytime you guys want to shit on Aaron Rodgers, make sure you can have me on. I'm a professional Rodgers hater. That's what everyone says. I'm a Rodgers hater. So I just might as well embrace it. I'm like Batman. I've lived long enough to become the villain that everyone needs. The hero, I guess they need, that they call the villain or whatever the fuck the quote was. I don't remember.
Yeah, there you go. It's something along those lines.
You get what I meant.
And wow, that's a big bottle of water.
Hey, man.
That is a big. Hey, you got to stay hydrated to hate on Rodgers that much. So, but here's the deal. Thank you, Godchild, for coming on.
So salty.
We appreciate you. It was great. And again, like Tyler, you owe Godchild another apology live in front of all the people.
I messed up. To the public audience, I gave Godchild the wrong time. We talked about it 5 times, and I still messed it up. So I apologize.
I'm just sitting there. I'm like,
waiting,
and I was like, hold on, what the heck did happen? I bet he got this thing screwed up. Yeah, man. Look, man. Honestly, I'm just busting your balls, man. I'm glad you guys didn't take it too hard. I'm kind of a ball buster a little bit. But no, this is awesome, man. I enjoyed the conversation. You guys get this. You got it kind of tight there, man. I like that. 30 minutes, don't have to do a lot of editing, huh? Not a lot of editing.
Not a ton of editing. We like to keep it short and sweet and for the people, baby. For the people.
All right, well, we took over, but at least be under 45 minutes. You got special guests. Kind of like the.
It was worth it. It was so worth it. So worth it.
All right.
But anyway.
All right, guys. We have to do this again, man. Maybe around draft or something, man.
We will. All of our subscribers out there, go subscribe to the What's Packin.
Yeah, man. WHATS_PACKIN. What's _Packin on Instagram. And if you just type in What's Packin Sports Show on YouTube, it'll pop up on YouTube. You got to type the whole thing because if you don't, it's like RuPaul, like What You Packin, Drag Race or something like that. I should have did more research before I named it What's Packin. Whatever. But thanks, man, everybody. Appreciate for having me on, guys. Go Pack, go.
Pod out.